this video, I will be responding to one of the most popular atheistic objections to the teleological argument for the existence of God. So let's get straight into it. So before we actually get into the objection, we have to remember what the teleological argument actually says. So premise 1, the fine-tuning of the universe is either due to physical necessity, chance, or design. Premise 2, it is not due to physical necessity or chance, and the conclusion which logically and necessarily follows is therefore it is due to design. So this is a logically sound argument. That means that if the two premises are true, then the conclusion logically and necessarily follows. So now let's hear the objection that I will be responding to. Here is the argument. Premise 1, external restrictions cause the need for fine-tuning. Premise 2, God fine-tuned the universe. Conclusion, therefore God is bound by external restrictions. So notice that this objection does not attack any of the premises in the actual teleological argument. That means that the conclusion still logically and necessarily follows. So the point is this is not actually an objection to the fine-tuning argument, it's more of an objection to the nature of God. But let's just dive deeper into this objection. My problem with the first premise is that it's only half true because external restrictions is not the only cause for fine-tuning. So that means that premise 1 is only half true and deceptive. For example, imagine if the fine-tuning argument went like this. Premise 1, the fine-tuning of the universe is either due to physical necessity or design. Premise 2, it is not due to physical necessity. In conclusion, therefore, is due to design. You see, the problem is that this argument is only half true because there is another alternative to fine-tuning called chance, and if we do not address this, then this argument is super unconvincing. Some also might say that it's guilty of the hasty generalization fallacy because it's not considering all of the possibilities like PR and PP, and some might also convict this of the false dilemma fallacy. So now that we know that the first premise is only half true, we have to rephrase this argument to be able to be fully true and see how it stands. Here's how the argument should go if we're going to be honest. Premise 1. External restrictions and personal reasons, preferences, can cause the need for fine-tuning. Premise 2. God fine-tuned the universe. Conclusion. Therefore God is bound by external restrictions. To judge if each is valid or invalid, we have to ask the question, if the premises are true, would we be locked into accepting the conclusion? If the answer is yes, then the argument is valid. If the answer is no, then the argument is invalid. And obviously we do not have to accept the conclusion because there's more possibilities than just external restrictions. And in order to make this argument valid, the atheist would have to prove that there's absolutely no sufficient reasons, zero sufficient reasons, that God would fine-tune the universe for personal reasons or preferences. Here's what the argument would look like if it were valid. Premise 1. External restrictions and personal reasons / personal preferences can cause the need for fine-tuning. Premise 2. God fine-tuned the universe. Premise 3. He didn't do it because of PR or PP. Conclusion. Therefore God is bound by external restrictions. Now this is a logically sound argument, but as we know, it is impossible to show that there is zero sufficient reasons for PR / PP, and therefore this argument is extremely unconvincing.